Why is it that 2 weeks ago, Jeff Bezos, who has $90 billion of his personal net worth in Amazon stock, told people not to use it?
The probabilities say if we're not in a recession right now, we're likely to be in one very soon. If you're an individual and you're thinking about buying a new, large screen TV, maybe slow that down.
Now hear me out. I understand why content creators and the media say things like, we're going into a recession, the world is ending, buy canned foods, etc. It gets clicks and it gets views. I see it happen with my own videos as well. But what I don't understand is that if you're Jeff Bezos and you make money from consumer spending, why are you going out of your way to say that there's going to be a recession and that you need to be careful about spending money?
That's a great question. My name is James Lee. Welcome to my channel 5149, where I talk business, politics, society, and today let's talk about the recession. Not at all a fun topic, but one worth exploring, especially given the odd nature of today's discourse where everyone and their mothers are predicting a recession.
Mild recession for, 18 months or something like that.
Europe is already in a recession, and they're likely to put U.S. in some kind of recession 6-9 months from now.
An increase in interest rates that eventually will result in an economic slowdown. So I'm afraid that the bears on this one have a pretty strong argument.
Now, unless you think they're giving these warnings out of the goodness of their hearts, this should come as a major red flag.
Major red flag. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan Chase, Bill Gates. I'm not saying that they are wrong necessarily, but they're certainly not in the business of working for you and I, so we have to dig deeper here.
And yes, we had to take some losses in our subprime department last year, but those losses will be contained at only 5%.
I have a question, please.
Sir, the Q&A is after my statements, but you know what? You seem anxious.
Thank you.
How can I help you?
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Would you say that it is a possibility or a probability that subprime losses stop at 5%? Thank you.
I would say it is a very strong probability, indeed.
Zero. There is a 0% chance that your subprime losses will stop at 5%. Zero. Excuse me. I have to take this.
He must be from Bank of America.
Yeah.
That is how people usually will act in the weeks and months leading up to an economic recession. The wealthy, the elite, the establishment players will say, no, the market is strong and able to withstand any shock to the system, and they'll casually dismiss people who have contrary opinions and evidence as quacks and fringe. Today, we get BlackRock saying, get ready for a recession unlike any other. What worked in the past won't work now. I think this is bizarre because while there are always economic indicators or predictors of downturns, bubbles, and recessions, in the past, nobody who represented capital would, in broad daylight, come right out and say it. There would always be some attempt to obfuscate the truth and say, no, the economy is going great. But once again, today, they've been promulgating this recession narrative all throughout 2022, so much so that over 50% of Americans think that the economy is only going to get worse in 2023, according to a recent Wall Street Journal poll. So it's either that people in power are just more altruistic now and warning people about getting smart with their money, or there's something else going on. So there is this AI chatbot called ChatGPT that's all the rage right now. You might have already come across it. Basically, you can ask it questions or prompts and it can help you write just about anything, copy, code, fiction. Pretty crazy stuff, definitely worthy of an entirely different video exploring the societal implications of this new technology. But in the meantime, I write, why would billionaires want to induce a recession? The response, it is not accurate to say that billionaires as a group would want to induce a recession. While a recession can lead to financial struggles for many individuals and businesses, it can also present opportunities for some investors and companies to benefit financially. However, the idea that billionaires actively seek to cause a recession is a conspiracy theory without any evidence to support it. Diplomatic response, although interesting, it says that the claim is a conspiracy without evidence, while also acknowledging that there are ways a recession would actually be good for investors and companies. So I decided to follow up and say, give me 5 ways how they could benefit financially. The response, some ways that investors or companies may benefit during a recession include 1, stock prices may decrease, making it an opportunity to buy undervalued companies at a lower price. Uh-oh, is this AI chatbot actually leading me to the evidence? I guess it has a mind of its own and is deviating from the established narrative. Coincidentally, this was just printed in Bloomberg News, January 9th, 2023. U.S. corporations are still lining up to buy back their own shares. Quote, despite 98% or whatever survey you want to use of CEOs saying that they are worried about a recession, they are still comfortable enough to spend money on stock buybacks. So are they really that worried? That is a good question. Are they actually worried? Because evidence suggests that a recession doesn't seem so bad for them after all. Let's keep going. Number 2, companies may lay off employees or go out of business, creating opportunities for remaining companies to acquire valuable assets or talent. Well, if you've paid any attention to the news, layoffs abound, especially in the tech sector. Hundreds of thousands laid off in 2022 and already over 20,000 this year in the month of January alone, according to layoffs.fyi, a website that has been tracking tech layoffs. This is a bit tangential, but a stark reminder that you will always be a number on a spreadsheet, no matter how valuable you think you might be to your company. Not saying you shouldn't work hard, but something to always keep in mind. Number 3, the Federal Reserve may decrease interest rates to stimulate economic activity, which can benefit borrowers and investors in bonds. This one is a little tricky because the Fed has limited tools to battle inflation and to stimulate the economy, and they all come with significant trade-offs. But in general, Wall Street does benefit from lower rates. Quote, higher rates slow the economy by design and risk causing a recession if they go too high, all while dragging down prices of investments. Rate cuts generally act like steroids for stocks and other investments. Listen, whatever economic theory you or I might have, how this or that might impact the working people, let's say, we're not going to have the Fed's ear. It's all about the right people applying the right kind of pressure on the Fed. And in this case, it would kind of behoove them to make a fuss and make a doomsday type economic prediction to scare the Fed into implementing a specific monetary policy that they think would benefit them. Number 4, some companies may be insulated from the economic downturn and continue to perform well, such as those in essential industries. This one really is the key difference between what's happening now and what might have happened in the past, because if you have enough capital, you can not only withstand a recession, but you'll come out even better off than you were previously. The Great Depression, the dot-com bubble, the financial crisis, the survivors always got bigger. But in today's scenario, consolidation over the years have led to a point where every one of these top firms are able to survive and thrive in a recession. You remember that clip from earlier, The Big Short? The banks were definitely aware of their leveraged position and knew they were exposed. Probably not to the correct magnitude, but they knew a financial downturn would hurt them, which is why they tried to hide their real financial positions with quote-unquote accounting sleight of hand to conceal their bad investments. That's the one thing that we need to pay attention to that isn't the case today. According to a report from JP Chase, banks appear to be well capitalized to weather a recession. This graphic has quite technical nomenclature, but to put it simply, even under the severely adverse scenario capital requirements, the industry as a whole would still be adequate to meet regulatory minimums. In some ways, I guess they did learn their lesson, but not surprisingly, they, of course, still prioritize their own self-interest with no regard for anyone else, but I suppose that is their entire business model, is it not? On top of that, corporate profits have been at record highs even amid a 40-year high inflation. We are really living in an upside-down world. Number 5, real estate prices may decrease, creating opportunities to buy property at a lower price. This is one now that the cat's been let out of the bag, meaning that Wall Street and other large financial investors have financialized the housing industry. It is going to be really difficult for housing to remain an attainable pillar of the American dream. This is from Fortune magazine, quote, on the way up, the pandemic housing boom, which saw rents and home prices soar, was amazing for everyone from Airbnb hosts to home flippers to institutional buyers on Wall Street. However, last year's historic mortgage rate shock has seen the national market flip from inflation mode to deflation mode. What's an interesting dynamic with the institutional investors is a lot of them have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for that moment to strike. They're thinking, hey, I want to buy these homes from you, the builder, but I want to have a discount to do so. These institutional investors don't just want markdowns in the 10% ballpark, they're hoping for 20% and 30% price cuts. Well, that is sort of convenient, isn't it? The hollowing out of America's housing market vis-a-vis a recession by corporate vultures. The reality is, it doesn't take an AI chatbot to know that if you're diversified in your financial holdings and have a stockpile of cash, you can make money in good times and bad. It was kind of fun to play around with it, although still very scary. That being said, very concerning that everyone in power sounding doomsday alarm bells no doubt has the ability to profit handsomely off of economic turmoil to the degree that inducing a recession all while cosplaying as altruistic truth tellers isn't even out of the realm of possibility. We can only conjecture, I suppose, but the undeniable truth is that there is always more to a story if you follow the money. And my goal is, as best I can, arm you with this type of important information that you can hopefully use to make the best decision you can for yourself, your family, and your friends. That's it for me this week. Thank you once again for tuning in to what is undoubtedly probably a somewhat depressing but hopefully informative video. What do you think is really going on? I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, if you want to support my work, please like this video, share it, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell as always. Thank you for your time today. I'll see you next week.